Board presents Board, James Board. I'm Luke.
I'm Lars.
And I'm Dad.
This is our deep dive retrospective of every James Bond film. How's everyone doing tonight?
We're doing pretty good. We spent a fabulous weekend at Disney, which was magical. It truly was. The kids had a wonderful time. We did too. They had a Star Wars edition now, and it's incredible. I mean, my only complaint is that it's not the Star Wars I grew up with, but it is the Star Wars that the kids are growing up with. So seeing the look on their faces was awesome. And then we're going to be frantically cleaning the next 2 days until Mom and Dad get down here. So.
Frantically cleaning? You don't need to frantically clean.
Not frantically cleaning. Well, we gotta clean. We left a lot before we went to Disney, and we got home from Disney and said, we're still on vacation. So, Dad, how you doing?
Good. I leave for Maine on Monday for a business trip for the week.
Cool.
It's definitely going to be cold there. They got like 12 inches of snow this week, and they're supposed to get 12 inches on Friday, I think. But hopefully the roads are clear, so we're good to go.
Not a whole lot. It has it's been snowing the past couple of days, so it's a nice blanket of winter covering everything. Let's see. I'm trying to think of anything going on. Nope. It's just I made a nice stir fry the other night. That was my highlight. Just spending a couple of days relaxing with Victoria.
Well, good.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Well, tonight I did not make a martini because I did not think this movie deserved one.
I would agree.
I was at the grocery store with Eleanor while Elliot was at Taekwondo. And at the beer section, they had this IPA. And I like IPAs. I like a lot of different kinds of beers, but IPAs are pretty good. And they had For the Adventurer Inside Us All. I was like, oh, this is great. This sounds very rousing and adventurous, like a James Bond movie. But I was shopping at the Aldi, which is not quite the same. If you ever been to an Aldi or a Lidl, they have all these different goods, and it reminds me of Lost. I don't know if you guys watch Lost, but when they're in the Dharma Initiative, they'll have it's not Ritz crackers, it's like Rutz crackers. It's like just a different, something different, just something off. So that's what I'm having, a beer that it tastes like a beer. It tastes like an IPA. It's not horrible, but it's just not the same. And I thought that was perfect for this movie.
I'm not gonna lie. I expected you to say that you got a bottle of Colt 45.
I almost thought about it.
That's where I was going to go, Lucas. So I agree 100% with you.
Yeah.
They unfortunately did not have it at the grocery store. Otherwise, I would have gotten that. Because we watched Live and Let Die. Dong.
Now,
dong.
is there a Bond film that has a greater disparity from how good its theme song is to how mediocre the movie itself is? Is the gulf between the two is so much larger than probably any other Bond movie?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
It's gonna be tough.
It's hard to find one.
It's gonna be tough because I and this song holds a special place in my heart because I actually saw Sir Paul McCartney. I saw Sir Paul McCartney sing this live the day we moved into our house.
Oh wow!
He was
in
at
Greensboro.
your house?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He was in Greensboro, and we bought tickets like months in advance, and then we closed in our house, and we were moving in the same day. So like we got everything into the house, nothing where it needed to be. It was just inside our doors, and then we went to the concert. And he ended the concert with pyrotechnics and cannons and Live and Let Die, and it was awesome. It was so good.
In my high school trip to England was in 1973, and Live and Let Die was posters and everywhere. It was plastered everywhere. I didn't get a chance to see it there. I wish I could have, but I remember thinking, "Oh my God, this is the greatest thing in the world." And now I watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're right, Lucas. Like the song, like that opening
the
bit,
song,
and the opening bit
might be
like it's cold. The cold open. I'm sorry, Dad. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that this might be the best Bond theme.
It's up there.
It's
definitely
it's
top
up
3.
there. It's not my personal favorite, but it's up there. I mean, for God's sake, it's Paul McCartney.
Yeah. And it almost feels like they pulled out all the stops. Like, hey, we're gonna really try to course correct. We got to get Paul McCartney to sing our song. But like, I love the cold open, which the only other cold open. There's only been one cold open that didn't connect with anything else really. Like, From Russia with Love was like a mini story. Like, it's his little adventures when it's like on a Tuesday. James Bond does this. Mm-hmm. Everything else kind of has like at least a connection to the plot.
But they hadn't figured it out yet.
They hadn't figured it out yet.
Right.
But with this one, it does have a connection in the plot, and it's kind of interesting because it's jumping around. I loved, and I'm just saying this before we get to the story, Dad, because we jump around.
Right.
I love the New Orleans bit. The second line when like the guy gets killed and they pick him up in the casket.
They put the coffin over him. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Wonderful. Like there's all these like I'm like okay, here we go.
Yeah.
And then like boom,
nope,
boom, like Live and Let Die starts. And like, well, shit, this is gonna be great. And then it's not great.
Nope.
The thing is, I'd rather watch this over Diamonds Are Forever.
100%.
I would agree. It was iffy for me because when I was watching this one, like, wow, I didn't remember how bad this was, and how I guess because I'm 66 and I'm looking at with another lens now, how black exploitation and I mean it was just insane.
Well, okay, so Dad,
but
give us the plot. Give us the plot.
I don't want to jump ahead.
Give us the plot. What happens?
Okay, so Live and Let Die, 1973. James Bond is sent to investigate the murder of 3 British agents, all of whom have been killed within 24 hours. The victims are all separately investigating the operations of Dr. Kananga, the dictator of a small Caribbean island, San Martinique. Bond discovers that Kananga also acts as Mr. Big, a ruthless and cunning American gangster. Upon visiting San Martinique, Bond determines that Kananga is producing 2 tons of heroin and is protecting the poppy fields by exploiting locals' fear of voodoo and the occult. Through his alter ego, Mr. Big, Kananga plans to distribute the heroin free of charge in his Filet of Soul restaurants, which will increase the number of addicts. Bond is captured by Kananga, but he escapes, killing Kananga and destroying the poppy crop. Now, that is the shortest description I have read on the internet of a Bond movie. And yet it doesn't even describe everything that went on, good, bad, or indifferent.
Absolutely.
You skipped over solitaire. You skipped over all
kinds
of
that
stuff.
Was just a description.
Which it is a smaller movie, which I don't mind. I like a Bond movie that isn't I have to go save the world. Like
Yep.
You know, like
I'm with
From
you.
Russia with Love. From Russia with Love was he's just gonna stop. He's got to get the box, right? Like he's gonna
Yep.
go get this decoder box, and that's it. Like, you know, it has bigger implications in the Cold War, but it's not someone from a moon base shooting lasers to destroy the diamonds that will then kill the oceans and all the whales. You know, it's not
But-
convoluted.
But
It was pretty tight.
But pull back for a second, and we just left a franchise that had Sean Connery and then had John Lazenby, and then Lazenby, and then they're going to introduce a new James Bond, and they used this movie to introduce a new James Bond, and it was so different that I was watching the movie the other night from that perspective. That I'm looking at it from: is he Simon Templar? Is he James Bond?
That's
Is
so
it-
Roger Moore. Roger Moore prior to this, like he had screen tested for Bond before.
Before Sean
But
Connery.
he was the Saint.
Yeah.
But he was the Saint. He was on a TV
Yep.
show, The Saint, Simon Templar, and
He was very good at that.
he was, and he just wasn't. He never felt like he was like really embodied the part.
No, he wasn't ruthless.
Well, it's not even the ruthlessness
No,
of it. This movie feels like it's trying to. Okay, we've got so many. We've come off of a really bad movie. We're trying to right the ship. How do we do that? Well, let's have a bunch of things that are very similar to older Bond movies with a new actor, and we can have him try and go with this. Because Solitaire is very similar to Domino, even the name is similar.
Yeah.
We've got a train fight at the end, like in From Russia with Love. We have an underground base, like several of the other movies. We have the mystery of what's going on and who is this person.
So more like a detective story than a spy thing, and yeah.
It's
Yeah,
trying.
I mean, for me, this really wasn't a James Bond movie. I watching the whole thing, I'm like, this isn't James Bond.
Well, and we've also grown accustomed to who James Bond is. So now,
I mean,
you're kind of-
what the British Secret Service sends James Bonds out to do. This wouldn't be one of the ones they would send him out on. It was just different.
having to find why these three agents all died, and they're all loosely connected. Okay, I can understand it.
Well, because that's Dr. No. That's actually what Dr.
Yeah.
No started out with. He was going to go find why the agent died.
Yeah.
And then he uncovered a big plot. Which is kind of what this plot is. Like, he went to go find what happened with these agents, and then he found a bigger plot.
Can I say that it is? I mean, I think I texted you guys this, but it is incredibly weird to see James Bond's house.
Now,
Oh, absolutely.
yes.
And to have M knock on the door,
Yeah,
I'm like, what the hell?
I don't know what I
we're-
expected it to be, but it wasn't that.
No.
we're introduced to James. So, our new James Bond, so, has the opening, has Live and Let Die, and, like, dun 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 dun, like the
Yep.
song's playing. It's like, oh shit, this is going to be awesome. And then and the next scene is James Bond in bed with a woman. Oh, great. There's James Bond, of course, in his natural habitat. Next to
A Studebaker.
a Studebaker.
A Studebaker,
Right. He's actually at his house because M comes to visit him, and it was like a Three's Company episode where he's trying to hide the girl. And he's
Yeah.
like being all coy.
And then Moneypenny's there trying to
and
help
Moneypenny
him, and
shows
yeah,
up, and like all this stuff, and Q never shows up, which
No.
is weird.
Nope.
no,
We get a reference to him and the watch.
Right, but it's like why are you at his house? Why would you ever you're the head of Secret Service. They come to you.
Yeah.
You get them to come to you.
I mean, the only time I remember them coming to James Bond's house was in it was Daniel Craig, and
Skyfall.
he was in his apartment, exactly. And that was kind of, it didn't really have anything to do with anything. This was just really odd.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you're you're the head of a spy organization. You don't go anywhere. They come. Your boys come to you.
Yeah.
Like they don't.
I mean, it was like, oh yeah, we've had dinner parties here before, and we just came by to see you.
We just knew, and again, there's Moneypenny, and she knows that there's a girl in the closet, and she's kind of wink, and it completely undercuts all the emotion that On Her Majesty's Secret Service left with. Was like,
right.
Oh, he fell in love, and now she's dead, and now it's all just like, I'm back to swinging. It's okay, and Moneypenny's in on it, and blah blah. And it's just, it just reminds me of, like, if this movie had been better or had like done its own thing or done something interesting, I wouldn't have noticed all that. But like these successive movies after that heartbreak of On Her Majesty's Secret Service, it's like, man, you guys really missed an opportunity, and now you're just making not great stuff.
I think the problem I had with this one, the big problem was it does not age well.
No.
Okay.
Everything they did, Pimp Mobile, everything. If you watch it now through a 2022 eyeballs, it's horrible.
Oh, it's cringy.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Cringy.
We've talked on
And like New York City looks so grimy.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, we've
gross.
talked on episodes before about how you have to judge a film by its own, the cringiness of You Only Live Twice, and how there's some not good bits in there, and well, that came out in 1967, 60, whenever. Well, we're not watching it in 1967. We're watching it in 2022.
We can't impose our morals or our.
But you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't not.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
But it's
Yeah.
but it was easier for me to do it for that movie than this
Because
one.
it was a
this
better
one-
movie.
Right.
And there were so many different, and this is horrible to say, but there were so many blaxploitation.
Tropes.
Oh my God, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Just I'm watching this movie thinking, if the rest of the world thought that every black person in a city
Was a crime. Was a part of a crime
was a
network.
crime lord
crime
and
lord.
drove a
Yeah.
pimp mobile. They actually said pimp mobile,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, it was amazing. And I
Well,
can
yet
remember
again,
going to the movies, watching this movie, not thinking all that, but now I'm thinking about it like, oh my God.
See,
Once again, Bond in America doesn't really work.
I
No.
was just about to bring that up.
Never does.
And I disagree in this movie at the very least. Because it didn't work in Diamonds Are Forever, where I agree with you categorically. It doesn't work in that. But here, because we're seeing multiple locations in the States, it works better. We're seeing New York, because New York is the eternal setting for a film. You can basically...
You do have New Orleans.
And
the second line stuff was fun.
And
I will admit that.
and New Orleans is exotic by its nature almost. So that works.
You're right there.
The fact that we juxtapose New Orleans, New York, and San Monique, I think it is.
Yeah, made up
area,
country.
made up Jamaica.
It was Haiti. It was Haiti.
It's Haiti.
Yeah. It didn't bother me as much. I totally understand what you're saying. Bond in America seems strange because it's not exotic, but it's not exotic to us because we've grown up here.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It was weird though, because this whole movie. I have a couple things I want to say right off the bat. And I don't want to hog everything, but again, it felt like it's a smaller story, but everything else felt small. Like, even the underground layer that we eventually get to.
Yes.
Like, think back to the last underground layers that we've seen. We didn't see, like, forget about Diamonds Are Forever, blech. And on Her Majesty's Secret Servants didn't really have a layer. Like, it had a Swiss Alps thing. But we can, let's take those away. Let's go back to You Only Live Twice, or like Thunderball, or Goldfinger, or Dr. No. Like, there's volcano layers, and they're big sets, and they feel giant and big.
Hey, Lars,
expansive.
I even wrote down my third note was a tiny UN. When they had the UN sequence,
yes,
there were like 5 people there, and I'm like,
This
wait a
felt
minute.
like
when I
this
see
felt
the
like-
UN, there's 400 people in a room. And with this one, it was like they could have filmed it in my bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like the most Austin Powers
Yeah.
sets that we've seen.
Yep.
And
Yep.
Austin Powers looked cheap and silly on purpose. Like, that was on purpose. They did that like
Sure.
we were making a spoof. This is a spoof. Like, I understand that.
Yep.
But compare his Kananga's underground lair to Dr. No's or Blofeld's underground lair. They're completely different.
Yep.
And it's like they took this giant step back, and it just felt cheap. And then the other thing was, so, Dad, the big reason that you wanted to watch these movies, not only, it was great to talk with everybody and watch James Bond, just to see how things change.
Yep.
And I want to jump ahead, but Agent Rosie Carver, contrast her. So Rosie Carver, she's on like her second assignment. She's kind of nervous and bumbling. Compare her to the new agent in No Time to Die, who kicks ass, like shoots everybody, is breathtaking to look at, shares a martini with Bond, never sleeps with them, goes on her way.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Is in there for one sequence. Lucas, have you seen No
I
Time
have
to Die
not.
yet? Sorry to spoil everything.
Hey, you're good.
But there's an agent in it that is, you will see her, you'll know who we're talking about. She is, wow.
Now I will say that. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, compare the two, where we have gone from bumbling sidekick to holds her own.
Right.
Is pretty remarkable.
Now
to
go
see
back to 1973, and James Bond is having a love scene with a black
there's that.
woman.
Yep.
You're
Was
absolutely right.
unbelievably controversial.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're
And
absolutely right.
It was.
Yep.
I can remember hearing things, especially when I watched it from the South, that there were people that were. I'm not going to go
Like
watch this
boycotting.
movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, looking at it now, I'm like, wow, I can understand why people reacted that way, because it was so in your face that, I mean, it was amazing.
But they don't even, like, so at the first night they're together, she pushes him away. And then they end up sleeping together in the woods, but we don't see anything. We see a lot more with other women.
Oh, but
Absolutely.
he kisses her, and that was the big deal. That, oh my God,
Yeah.
I mean,
where are they going with this?
I mean, how far out are we from the Kirk O'Hara kiss? We're not that far away from that on being on TV.
I mean, it was like four years.
Yeah,
It was
From
like
what?
67, 68.
yeah, from Kirk and O'Hara on Star Trek.
Oh no, it's 69 to 73. But I mean, this one was. I can remember hearing about this. That, oh my God, people shouldn't watch this. It's horrible. I'm like, oh my God, it's really, that part of it was groundbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh, I can appreciate that.
But it was done poorly.
Right.
Very.
Oh, an old woman says, "Holy shit."
Yep. And
So she says,
I mean, for me, part of it was 1970s, and what they wore, their makeup, it was horrendous.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, looking at Kananga when he has his fake makeup on, I'm like, well, what the heck has he got on there?
Yeah, this one was very, very dated.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with, it does feel, and it's funny because, I mean, the blaxploitation movies, they were popular, but I've seen Shaft, I've seen Coffee Brown, I've seen, all the Cleopatra Jones, like, all these
Black
these
Dynamite.
movies, but they weren't like, well, Dynamite. Have you seen that movie? It's incredible.
It's perfect. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
That you need to watch Black Dynamite. Black Dynamite
Okay.
is
It's on HBO Max now.
yeah, it's Michael Jai White, and he it was his passion project. He made a blaxploitation movie in like 2009, and it like there's boom mics in it.
Oh,
But
wow.
So it's a spoof, but it's not like
It's not like a Zucker Brothers.
right. It is. I just made another blaxploitation movie. So there's some people that because they're not trained actors in these movies. Somebody stands up, like he stands up, and now this is what. So it was like he read his direction and then started reading his scene.
It's so good.
It's so
I have to
funny.
watch this. Yeah.
Oh god, it's so good. That's legitimately good. But the I mean, it wasn't like a huge genre. Like I know that they were popular, but it's just so weird of a genre to meld James Bond onto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't get it.
I mean, I actually wrote down. It looked like it was a bunch of white guys making a black movie,
Oh, it absolutely is.
and
That is a
and
wonderful way to
making a
describe it.
black movie poorly.
Mm-hmm.
And then to interject.
I think Shaft's 1,000 times better than this.
Oh my God, yes. And then to interject all of the Louisiana police. Oh my God, that was I just could not believe they did all that. And then we get to see him in future movies.
I know. I heard.
And I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. And I was reading some of the backstory on this movie, and there were actual Louisiana police departments that when they filmed this movie, they did not allow black people to drive cars in their areas, in their parish, during the filming of this movie. And oh my God, it's so bad.
Yep. And that when that cop first swaggers up to the guy who's chasing Bond, whose name escapes me, and they're having this weird boat chase, car chase. Pepper, yeah, it's a boat car chase at the same time. Yeah, that's a great name. And he says something to the effect of, "This isn't your first time doing this. Like, I am so uncomfortable right now with everything that's going on. I just desperately want both of them to get hit in the head with a speedboat when they jump over."
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I'm with
yeah, and it's like 1973. That's not a long time ago.
Nope.
It's a while ago, but that's not a long time ago.
Nope.
And
I
to
graduated
have
from
that-
high school in 74.
Three more years, right? Exactly. Or
Yeah.
So like it's not that far removed. So this idea of we're jumping around Bond goes to New York. He's trying to unravel this mystery. Turns out there's this guy that's selling heroin. He's protecting his poppy fields. There's this voodoo lady named Solitaire. We haven't even gotten to Solitaire yet. I'm not getting to her yet. We'll go back to her. It ends up in the swamps of Louisiana, and there's a pretty cool boat chase. We haven't really seen a boat chase like this in a Bond movie. That was fun. Pretty good stuff. But the sheriff is this hillbilly fuckface
redneck,
and
oh my God, the epitome of a redneck Southern tobacco chewing sheriff.
With a brother-in-law named Billy Bob. And the words Billy Bob should never be uttered in a James Bond movie.
No.
James Bond is way too cool for that.
Absolutely.
So
that really...
I mean, that whole portion of it, I thought I was watching...
Dukes of Hazzard?
What is it? Porky's?
Porky's or Dukes of Hazzard? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, have I stumbled into Porky's?
Right. Yeah. Did they make the movie stop happening and something else is going on?
Yeah, exactly.
And even like, I don't know. It suffered from. It didn't know what kind of tone of the movie it wanted to be.
Right.
So it wanted like, all right, we need to be dangerous, so we're doing a boat chase. But then we do this comedic moment where the boat rides up over this swamp flotilla, basically, like this land, through a wedding. Wedding out in the bayou. And then it goes back on the water, and like it's like pick a tone. Like you can have a very serious movie, but have like moments of levity or like a lighthearted laugh or a gag or whatever. That's fine. But when you're bouncing from I'm trying to escape this person. Like, imagine this chase scene in From Russia with Love. This chase scene would be, I'm escaping for my life. I am getting out of the, like, this guy is going to kill me. I'm getting away from him. But that's what they were trying to go for. But then there's, like, silly, and it's just up and down and up and down. And I don't know what I'm supposed to be feeling by watching this, other than...
It goes on forever.
It goes on forever. It goes on forever.
It did.
So I never knew what to feel with the movie because it was silly and campy.
And the whole voodoo thing, just it never really grabbed me. I mean, at the end, you see the tall guy with the voodoo on the train, and like, well, this. It was just kind of silly.
He was a good looking villain.
Yeah.
I would love for him to get into a fight with him.
Yeah.
He was scary.
But not the actual villain. Kananga was like, whatever.
I will say...
Was Yaphet Kotto.
I will say the bit where he pulls the face off, that was pretty cool. Like, he pulls his fake face off, revealing... that he's both Mr. Big and Kananga at the same time. I thought that was a pretty interesting, pretty cool way to do that. But other than that, I wasn't really threatened by him.
No.
I mean this.
I'm threatened by Red Grant. Red Grant is gonna kill somebody.
Yes.
And. Like, Odd Job is silly, but he's a big guy with a metal hat that's going to throw it through your face.
Yeah.
He's scary.
I mean, the guy with, what was his name? With, he had the pincers.
The claw.
Mm-hmm. But but you could look at him, and his arms, the pincer thing was like twice as long as the rest of his arms. So, okay, so... Right.
Well, that's any movie with a prosthesis. I mean,
that's just bad.
Well, that's like if you watch Predator. Predator tries to to do the thing with his arm, but he touches it midway through the finger because that's where the tip of his actual finger is.
Yeah, but this is really bad, Lucas.
Yes, I'm just bringing it up that it happens in any time there's a prosthesis.
Yeah. It does. It is. It's not just for here, but it was just bad here, and it just, I didn't. I mean, James Bond. They're escapist adventure movies, right? Like that. Like its core.
Yep.
This is taking somebody from bumfuck Iowa on a journey to go, like, I'm going to get to go around the world and have an adventure. I didn't have any sort of tension. And I have nothing against Iowa. It's just the center. All I'm picking is the center.
Right.
That's all.
Yep.
There wasn't any tension. I didn't care. Like, there was, so if I don't feel like there's any stakes or there's any tension, then why am I watching this adventure story? Like, all good adventure is about, I hope that he gets the girl, or I hope that he
stops the Nazis from getting the Grail.
Nazis from getting the Grail, or like whatever.
So think about what you just said.
He shoots the torpedoes before the space station blows it up, like all that stuff, right? Like, that's
the person from Iowa watching this movie that you just said. All he sees is, look, all the people in New York City, all the black people drive pimp-mobiles,
right?
And
right.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm watching this like
slums.
This is horrible.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you go into the swamps of Louisiana and you're trapped on an island, as long as you can line up alligators, you can run across them.
I didn't hate that because I've seen that in so many cartoons.
But it was so silly.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
Now, and also, he does do that in Skyfall. He jumps on a Komodo dragon.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
But still. And I actually read about this thing because the only reason they had all that in the movie was when they were scouting locations. They came across this alligator farm. And the guy said, if you film here, I can run across alligators. And they, okay. Well, that sounds good.
Yeah,
we'll film that.
Absolutely. Completely makes sense. What'll blow your minds is there's actually an alligator farm out in the Rockies, not too far from here.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Over a hot spring.
I was going to say they must have like down jackets or something.
Yeah, no,
right.
There's apparently a hot spring somewhere up there.
And I guess for me, what really irritated me the most, and it's kind of silly, it's everything he wore. It was so 70s, and so it just wasn't classy at all.
Well, he even has a moment where, like, there's a tailor. The tailor comes in.
I know.
And, like, he's picking these clothes, and it's like, those?
Really?
Like, the first time he meets Kananga, he's wearing this, like, yellowy cream colored
I'm looking
jacket
at it like everything's a leisure suit.
Yeah, he's not wearing the gray 3-piece from Goldfinger.
No.
Or he's not wearing, like, he doesn't look like he's just kind of
That was something I Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh no, something I noticed, like I made a note of, is like his Roger Moore's mimetic outfit, the thing that everyone thinks of when he's thinks of James Bond as a Roger Moore, the Roger Moore James Bond. His outfit is from this movie. It's the black turtleneck and the shoulder holster.
The brown,
shoulder rig.
Right.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Like,
which that looked cool, kind of infiltrate-y. That's fine,
mm-hmm.
but it wasn't. He didn't have a presence.
No.
Like, and even George Lazenby had a presence.
Yeah,
I felt like and I didn't feel it with him in this one.
No.
I think he was trying not to be the Saint.
I think you're right, Lucas. I really think you're right that
right.
he was trying not to be, but when he did this, it was, I don't know, it was almost like a caricature of a James Bond, where the biggest thing he could do is he would raise his eyebrow. He's like, I don't know. It just wasn't classy.
No, but also I think we talked about this earlier. I think you mentioned it, Dad. Like he wasn't like ruthless. Like James Bond's a killer.
Yeah.
Like James Bond is an assassin.
Yep.
And I believe that Sean Connery, if you piss him off, he'll kill you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I would get it. Like maybe not Sean Connery, but like Sean Connery in that role, he would not.
And looking
hesitate,
ahead,
and he'd kill you.
know that Daniel Craig would.
Yeah.
Same way. Yep.
He would kill
Daniel
you.
Craig, he would kill you and not even think about it.
Yep,
He would
because
never
that
lose
was
sleep.
that was his job.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
Roger Moore feels
Nope.
like more like I'm having fun being James Bond, and I never felt like Sean Connery really was having not Sean Connery, but Sean Connery's Bond was really having fun with it. In the better ones, he wasn't having fun.
no.
Like he was just kind of blasé about it, but also it was kind of like a defense mechanism, like a coping thing to get past all
In
this.
in this movie, I never thought that Roger Moore was ruthless.
No.
No, he was just.
But this is also where we have progressed past Bond being an assassin, and we've also even progressed Bond.
Now John is
Bond isn't even a spy. Bond is just Bond.
And that, you hit the nail on the head. That's very true, because where we are in the world, and in the 1973 when this was released, this is what
the snake
people
is now
wanted
eating
to
its own
see.
tail. No, you're absolutely right, Lucas. Is that now he's even progressed beyond Secret Agent. He is a James Bond. And James Bond gets the girls. James Bond.
Well,
does
he's not.
this.
Well,
James Bond does that.
we can say he's progressed past a spy and he's now a secret agent. That's the.
Well, it's a formula.
Yeah.
And right. Now we haven't talked about her, Jane Seymour. She's goddamn gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I
actually thought she was wasted.
Yep.
Yes, that was as a Bond girl, like man, like she's a really good actress. She's an Emmy award-winning actress.
And this was her first movie. She had done BBC television shows. This was her first movie.
Okay.
She is not, like in retrospect, like you are an actress that is awarded, and you are.
Yep.
Like you do good stuff, and you're right, Dad. She was just wasted, and like it made sense for Kananga to like put up voodoo statues and like play on the tribe or play on the natives' fear of voodoo. I get that, fine. Like you know, it's like a scarecrow almost, you know.
Yep.
But then why was he so wrapped up in the tarot card reading?
Made
and
no
like
sense.
All the others, no.
And then what was her name? Rosie, the black woman that he was involved with at the beginning.
Yeah, Carver. Yeah.
They never followed through with that. If they had done that, I mean, she was supposed to be like a double agent kind of thing, but I don't know. It was in 1973. That was pretty groundbreaking. That he was, laying in. They had obviously made love, and it was a white guy and a black woman. That was crazy.
Yeah.
But they never really followed through with that, other than, okay, let's just do this.
Yeah. Like I said at the beginning, it felt like a greatest hits.
Yeah.
But done worse. So it was like an underground layer, but not done well. A train fight, but not done as well. Just and it's funny because I'm not a big fan of the Roger Moore movies, but for some reason I remember. For some reason I remember like, oh no, this was fine. Like this one was like this one was a good one. This is good.
I thought the same thing, and then when I watched it, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
That just makes me feel bad about what we're getting ourselves into. Is that, well, if this is the one that I thought
was good,
Roger Moore's not a great Bond, but Live and Let Die is pretty good. I wonder if it's just that first 5 minutes where it bounces around and they pick up a person in a casket and then Paul McCartney sings his heart out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that all it was?
I don't know. And then I guess the whole thing was ruined for me with the whole Deputy Pepper or whoever, the redneck sheriff. I'm like, oh my God, I'm watching
Cannonball Run 3.
Oh my God. It was horrible. And we get to watch it again. I forget which one it is when he shows up again and they do the 360 flip with the boat.
Well, and I heard that with this one, I heard Burt Reynolds was offered.
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? It's supposed to be a British guy. I'm not going to take this part."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had the good enough sense to be like, "No, you're a moron. Of course I'm not going to be James Bond."
Yeah.
And I felt like there's a lot of like, you can feel almost like in retrospect now, feel the desperation.
This was a Smokey and the Bandit movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And they're trying desperately to have.
I mean, Lucas, what did you think?
As I said before, I'd rather watch this than Diamonds Are Forever. Something happens in this. I was at least
that's true.
Intrigued by what was going on. There were different things, and there is the outline of an interesting movie here. and Bond investigating.
I love that, Lucas.
Yeah, there is. There's a skeletal outline of something that's interesting here, and there's glimmers of it, like him investigating and that being followed through Harlem. Ugh. That's interesting.
Oh my God!
It's terrible, but it's interesting.
Had it been done real,
done well, it might have been. It might have been something, but it wasn't. This whole movie is a lot of almost interesting things done badly.
Right.
I mean, for me, this was not a James Bond movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I'm not sure what it was, but
it was a Jamie Bond movie.
And to think that they were introducing a new actor in the role, and they never. Nothing happened. I mean,
well, that you wouldn't come out with a new,
No, I mean you wouldn't say, okay, now Roger Moore's going to be doing this. I get that, but still, it was just different.
Okay, so, Dr. No, I remember the Ursula coming out of the water. I remember the volcano layer. The fight from Russia with Love, the train fight. Goldfinger, the
laser beam,
Fort Knox, the laser beam, Thunderball, the fights underwater, the jetpack. You Only Live Twice, Nelly, and the fight in the office.
Yeah.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the attack on the Alps, and the thing at the end. Even Diamonds Are Forever, the lame chase scene through the moon landing. What's the set piece in this movie?
Yeah.
There's not one.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's not one.
And it boggles my mind that...
I mean, other than seeing black guys in a Pimp-mobile driving away, that, like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Each movie had a set piece. There's no, like...
Nope.
Like big action, and and that was just a gloss over. Like I missed a bunch of big set pieces in all the other movies, but each one at least had one that I remember, and many of them had multiple.
One of the other things that feels weird about this movie, and it's the first one to start doing it. We saw it before, but this is the first movie where they lost the rights to Spectre.
Really?
Oh.
And there's no Spectre in this.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what I remember reading, is that's why we stopped seeing Spectres, because they didn't have the rights to Spectre anymore. So that's why we switched from Bond fighting Blofeld and Spectre to Bond fighting a quote-unquote Bond villain.
Oh, wow.
Because a Bond villain...
I didn't know that.
But we don't see Spectre again until, the movie Spectre.
No, he kills Blofeld in one of them.
He kills Blofeld in...
A View to a Kill.
Does he? Well, at the very least...
There's one of them that he killed.
I know this one was completely different. in that it was just drugs.
Right.
Which, again, I don't mind it being a smaller story.
No.
I don't mind that.
Just make sure it's a well-done story.
Right.
And have something memorable that happened in it. Like, I rattled off one or two things per movie, and that didn't take me any time to remember those. I could go back and tell you all these other cool set pieces, right? Mm-hmm. There was nothing in this movie that's really resonating with me other than he jumps on a bunch of alligators.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And if that's your movie for a James Bond movie, you got some problems.
I mean, for me, the takeaway was this looked like it was a bunch of white guys trying to make a black movie. Mm-hmm. And they did it really poorly.
And again, I would much rather watch Shaft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shaft is way
absolutely.
Way better. So this was Live and Let Die. Lucas, where... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, again, better than Diamonds Are Forever.
Well,
it is.
If you set the bar low enough.
Right. Broken clock is right twice a day. Lucas, where can folks find us?
We can be found on basically every major podcasting website: Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. If you have something else that you're looking for, drop us a line at SwordInBoardcast on Twitter. And as always, sorry. Oh yeah.
Oh, and our theme music is done by the incredible Ryan Boyd. They can be found at Ryandroid on Instagram and Twitter. I believe they're going to join us on the next Sword and Board cast, right?
Yes.
So check that one out. Our artwork is done by the wonderful Wes Forbes. James Bond will return in
The Man with the Golden Gun.
We're in for a treat, folks.
Have a good night, everyone.
All right.